So you want to be a filmmaker, huh? So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can become a very successful filmmaker in less than 10 years. Let's begin. It might sound funny, but realistically, a successful filmmaker can take 10 or even more years. So hopefully you're watching this video before you start filmmaking, so you're not gonna waste any time. So really, before you get started with filmmaking, make sure you love this. You love this more than breathing. You love it more than eating. You have to love this shit, otherwise you're not gonna get anywhere because it's gonna get very frustrating. In my first 2 years of my career, I made maybe like $200-300 total with filmmaking. And it didn't get any better the years after. Just eventually, 10 years in, then I started making real money with filmmaking. And now, of course, I can say it was worth it. So the first thing you should know before you get started is, what exactly do you want to do? Do you want to be an actor? Do you want to be a director, a cinematographer, an editor, VFX, special effects, sound? What is it you want to do? Of course, that can change throughout the years, but start off with something you really like, you're super passionate about, and try to forget about what makes most money or what is the easiest. Try to forget about these facts. Try to really focus on what is your passion. Once you figure that out, spend all of your time and all of your money into that. If you're going to school for 8 hours a day, spend another 8 hours on your craft. And spending on your craft, by that I don't mean, okay, you have to be on set and working. You can do these things even at home. If you do sound engineering or mixing, you can learn these things at home from YouTube, for example. If you want to be a cinematographer, learn about lighting, learn about cameras and lenses and all these things which come into place when it comes to filmmaking. If you want to be an actor, you can go to auditions, do self-tapes, you can shoot your monologues, share those with your friends, get feedback. Whatever you do, just work on it instead of just waiting for an opportunity to come to you that somebody's going to be like, oh yeah, I need a project to get done, I'm going to pay this person with no experience. No, that's never going to happen. You can also collaborate with others, because filmmaking, you don't do that on your own. You do it in a team. So find people who are like-minded, who are kind of on your same level. You don't want to reach out to people who are like there and you're like here. They're never going to respect you. You're never going to get anything from them. Maybe some kind of experience, but not really. I would really try to focus on working with people who are on your same level. Filmmaking is a huge business and there's so much knowledge to learn. You don't want to focus on the big boy productions first, because then you're gonna get overwhelmed and you don't know how to start even. That's why I suggest start with your own little projects. Your first short films can be just with you in front of the camera. Or maybe ask your sister or your brother to help you out, so you can focus on the camera settings, on the lighting. Maybe even in the beginning, just use your natural lights and go from there. But one thing which is very important, even if you're in the sound department, you also have to know about lighting. Because when you boom a set, you don't want to throw shadows. So you always know, oh, the key light is right there, so I can't be standing right there. The rim light is over there, I have to maybe step over there as a sound operator, for example. In all this, you learn best while you shoot one short film after the other. I suggest 1 or 2 short films a week. They can be super small, 3 angles per short film, but just go for it. That way you're gonna learn way faster. Because the mistake most filmmakers make, or most beginner filmmakers make, is start with the best idea. They want to make their first project the very best one, because I assume it's like ego or whatever it is, but don't do that. Try to start small, and then every project you can put more quality and a little less quantity. But in the beginning, quantity over quality. That way you learn best. Every time I move to a different place or a city, and I don't know anyone, that's how I get started. Every time I start shooting 1 short film a week, and that way I get to know all those people on set working, instead of going to networking events where everybody is like desperate and everybody wants to get something from each other. Sure, you can meet some nice people there, but in my experience, you learn more and get to know the right people when you start working and try to get the right people on set. The problem is all of that won't get you paid. Unless you start like a YouTube channel like this one or my Infant Cinema channel where I post my short films, it's not gonna get you paid. But that's a good thing. It happened very often that I just shot a short film and I met someone on set, and this person turns out to be a director on something else, and he needs a cinematographer, or he needs a sound operator, or he needs an editor, and then voila, I just got a paid job. And that happens most likely when you are working. When you meet someone working, then this shit happens. If you go to a networking event and you're like, oh, you know, I'm an editor, this guy is not going to be like, oh, I'm working on a film right now, we need an editor. It's not going to happen because he doesn't know your work. But once people get to know you on set and see your work ethic, see how passionate you are about filmmaking, then people are more likely to hire you for real work. And all this has to happen while you have some kind of side hustle, while you go to school or whatever you do. You still have to put 8 or more hours a day into your craft to actually have a successful career out of it. What you don't want to do is what I see a lot is working for 12 hours a day for money and then maybe spending an hour, maybe 2 on your craft or on connections or self-tapes, whatever you do. It's not going to get you anywhere. So at the least 8 hours of work for money and then another 8 hours or more for your craft. In the end of the day, just make sure you're good. You don't have to be the best, just be good enough. Be good enough and work hard. Answer phone calls, be responsive, be passionate. Whatever people are working on, be passionate about the projects as if they were your own. You also don't have to kiss asses there. If a project sucks or you have ideas to make them better, share them. Or if you're not sure, just ask them, hey, are you interested in my input? Because I have some ideas. That's a nice way to just smooth your ideas in there. And the next thing you know, you're the fucking director of the thing. It was a joke, but it actually happened a few times already, so you never know. And most importantly, don't rely on anyone. Don't wait for people. Focus on your own work. Try to push as far as you can when you need help from people and they're not doing what they were supposed to. Even if it was for free, just get someone else. People must understand that loyalty is not as important as work ethic. That means for yourself, always be on point, always be on time, do your work right. If you have problems with the project or misunderstandings, communicate that. There's nothing wrong about not being able to do something, but you have to be able to solve the problem. That's what filmmaking is all about, solving problems. You want this huge monster there in the background to disappear out of the fog? Figure out how to do it. If you're not like me, a visual effects person, if you're like more a practical guy, try to work with real props or figure it out with visual effects. What tools are there? What software can you use? What is affordable? And all these things you have to figure out yourself, and or find people which are experts in their filmmaking and you can ask them. But in the end of the day, you have to be a problem solver. Really quick about investments. How should you invest your money into your own craft? Cameras are not as important as lenses. Lenses come first. Computers are more important than cameras. If your computer can't handle your camera, you have to get a better computer first. Good microphones are more important than good recorders. Recorders you replace every few years, but microphones, they can last forever. Never save on SD cards or hard drives. Those have to be the best quality possible and fast as fuck, so you don't have to wait for your hard drives to copy it. It's all faster and smoother. When it comes to software, these days everything is subscription based, which makes it a little cheaper on the month, more expensive throughout the years, but I think that's a good deal if you want to get started. You spend $30 or so on the editing software. I'm not really sure how much the audio software is, but if you go with the entire Premiere package with Photoshop, After Effects and so on, what I did, then you pay $80 a month, which is still not bad for what you get for it. But most importantly, learn the software you're going to work on for the next few years. Don't start with iMovie just because it's accessible. Get the software you are going to need, and if you're not sure which software to use, solve that problem. Google it. What do people use for what you're going to do? For editing, I would use Premiere or Avid or Final Cut. All three of those are great. If you don't want to spend any money, go with DaVinci Resolve. And then, most importantly, just get started. Just get started. Grab your iPhone if you don't have anything else and start filming. Start looking at references, how other people film. When you watch movies, what camera angles do they use? How does the lighting look? And try to simulate those things in your own short films. Okay, that was a bunch of talk. I hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram, because I'm always open to have a conversation, help others out, because I was at the beginning too at some point and I needed help. And now I'm offering my help to you. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to watch my short films on my Infant Cinema channel, and see you in the next video. Toodaloo.